Today I'm going to teach you how to play Don't Be a Fool by Shawn Mendes on Shawn's signature Martin guitar. This video is sponsored by Martin Guitars, which we'll get into later in this lesson. So we only have one progression for this entire song through the strumming, the picking, everything. And it starts off on A major. Our next chord is B minor to G major. And our progression goes back to and ends on A major. And that's it. So we're gonna ease our way into the strumming pattern before we get into the picking. And the strumming has kind of this waltzy feel because it's in 3/4 time. Don't be a fool, wait on me, darling. I know that you don't wanna hear this, but I'm always on the move. So I'm basing this pattern off of the original recording of the song, and there's like one strum that's like super enunciated and the rest are very subtle. So when we play through each chord, what I'm doing is I am using the side of my palm here to rest over and mute the strings. So I go A major, and I lift up for that last strum, so that way that last one comes out nice and clean all the way through, and then I come back and I mute it, so it's very abrupt. It's just, so when I do the muted strums, I'm not strumming all the way across all the strings. I'm really just hitting kind of like the top couple of strings, and I'm going like 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're doing that twice for each chord. So B minor, G major, A major. And that is the strumming for the entire chorus part. Anywhere where you really just like hear the strumming in the song, you'll want to use that pattern. All right, it's the perfect time for a practice break. I'm gonna grab a sip of water. So far, we've covered the easiest part of the song, our chord progression and our strumming. The next part we're gonna get into is that picking pattern. So before we do that, I want you to just like take a break, like loosen up your shoulders, take a deep breath, and stretch out your hands and your fingers. This is a perfect time to just kind of like take a little bit of a practice break. And while we do that, I am going to talk a little bit more about Shawn's signature guitar with Martin. So the first thing about this guitar is that it is a 3/4 size, which I love. It makes for a perfect couch cozy jam because it's just a little bit more comfortable, but also travel friendly, which I think is probably why Shawn decided to go with a smaller guitar, because he travels all the time to play gigs all around the world, but also he does have people to help him with his gear. So maybe that's not why. Maybe he just like likes the comfort of a 3/4 size guitar. I'm just kind of making assumptions. The aesthetics of this guitar are so subtle, yet when you really look at them, they are beautiful. So it wouldn't be a Shawn Mendes signature guitar without his signature somewhere on the guitar, which if you look to the 3rd fret, it's beautifully inlaid here. We also have a gorgeous rosette, a pick guard, and if you look really closely at the bridge on either side, we have an engraved bird, which is just so beautiful. I love this detail. And it's actually inspired by the tattoo on Shawn's right hand. And this last one I didn't catch right away because it's inside the body of the guitar. So if you look down into the sound hole, you'll see a quote engraved that says, "You'll never be alone." I think that's just the coolest thing because I don't know any other guitars that have an engraving on the inside of the body to where you're the only one who can see it. So congrats to Shawn with coming up with that idea, because that's genius. If you're interested in learning more about the Shawn Mendes signature guitar with Martin, I'll have a link down below for you. You can go nerd out about all the specifications if you want to, but thank you so much to Martin Guitars for sponsoring this video. So for the picking pattern here, we are following the same exact progression as we went over earlier with our strumming. So from A to B minor to G back to A. And all we're doing here is picking through each chord. The patterns are really repetitive. So the only chord that has like a slightly different pattern is G. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our A major, and we're gonna pick from the 5th string to 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. And we're gonna do each picking pattern twice for each chord, kind of like how we did our strumming. So think of it in that way. So we have just like that. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our B minor. Same exact picking pattern. 5, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Now G is different because we're gonna start here on the root. So the root note of the chord, G, so it's the 6th string. So we have 6, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Now back to our A major. And that's it. That is the entire picking pattern for all of your verses and wherever the picking pattern comes up in the song. And that is how you play Don't Be a Fool by Shawn Mendes. If you would like to learn more of Shawn's music on guitar, you can tap my playlist right here. Thank you again to Martin Guitars for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to check out Shawn's signature guitar with Martin. I'll link it down below for you, and I will catch you in the next lesson.